Welcome to iCarly, huh? Is that what you're saying? That's going to be filmed, huh? Okay, our objective today is going to be creating equations of lines. Okay, creating equations of lines. And I think you know this, but if you don't or if you have forgotten it, then it's a great opportunity for us to go through it again, okay? So slope formula, let's go straight to this one. M equals, all right? M equals, and we're going to write y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, okay? That's the formula we want to use. In fact, it's on the back wall above the door. So it's one of those that I have formulas in here, the important ones, and I have them up on the walls because we want to be able to always be able to use them, okay? Now, you guys also know it's rise over run, right? You also know it's a rate. Ben, you said it was delta y over delta x, right? All those are correct. Those are all great answers, but this is the actual formula. So it comes from, in fact, if you have 2 points. Okay, if you have 2 points, that's where we get the x1, y1, x2, y2. So every point, every single point has some x and y value, right? Well, as an example, in example 1, we've got 3, 7, and 10, 25, right? So if you got 2 points, one way you could do is you could graph them, and you could find the slope by graphing, okay? But sometimes with such big numbers, it might be easier to do it without trying to graph it, right? Because, you know, these points could be way far, and you might have to keep graphing, or sometimes you get decimals, and then graphing would be difficult too. So we need a formula, okay? Now, if it's 2 points, then there's a first point, we'll call that x1, y1, right? And then if there's a second point, we'd have an x2, y2, okay? In my first example, we have 2 points. Let's call this point 1, and let's call this point 2, okay? Right? Since every point's got an x and a y, and this is point 1, let's call this 3 our x1, and this 7 our y1, just because it's the first point, okay? And then the 10, 25, that's my second point, x2, y2. And that's where we get our values to put in the formula, right? Somebody might ask, does it matter which point's point 1 or point 2? It doesn't, because between 2 points, the slope would never change. You start here to here, or here to here, the slope would be the same, right? I usually just take the first point, call it point 1, okay? Second point, call it point 2, okay? So how does the formula work? Well, y2 is 25, right? y2 is 25, so it's going to go there, okay? y1 is 7, it's going to go there. x2, that's the 10, it's going to go there. x1 is the 3, it's going to go there. So let's plug the numbers in and just simplify, okay? So the formula says m equals, or slope, okay? y2, well, my y2 value, because the second points, the second y, is my 25, minus my y1, which is the 7, divided by my x2. My x2 is my 10. Subtract my x1, which is my 3. Okay, now, slope is supposed to be a fraction. Slope is supposed to be a fraction, right? It's a ratio. So the answer we get should be a fraction. So 25 minus 7 is 18, and 10 minus 3 is 7. There's my slope. All right. Sometimes, if it's like when we did our rice, sometimes we can change this to like a decimal whole number, okay? Sometimes, but this is the best answer. This is what I want right here, where m is equal to 18 over 7, okay? Now, if you want to change it to a decimal, you can. It's not as accurate. You go, okay, what is 18 divided by 7? And I get an answer about 2.57, or approximately equal to a 2.57, right? Most of the time we want to keep it as a fraction because it's easier to graph, right? Up and over, right? But a decimal's okay. Now, point slope formula, right? Let's write that. Do you have room for it right in here? Okay, we're going to write y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And this might be a new formula for you. I'm going to highlight it. Okay, I'm going to highlight it. So, and it's up on the board too. If you take a look in the very back, you'll see y minus y1 is m times x minus x1. Yes, Celeste? Y1's 7, yeah.
That was Y.
What's that?
That was Y.
Great question, okay? So, when you need an equation, okay, let me back up to our, I'll just throw it, hold on. Okay, so when we're graphing, right? We're graphing 2 points, so when we're graphing, so let's see, I've got y equals 2/3 x minus 3, okay? Because you asked a great question, okay? So, graph that line. We know how, right? So graph that line, you'd start at -3, right? 1, 2, 3, right? And then you go up 2/3, right? Got it, right? So, everybody good on that, right? So, in order to have an equation, you have to have a y and an x, right? A y and an x variable. And what those represent are all the y values and all the x values on your line. That's what it really represents, okay? But you have to have y and x as variables, right? You guys agree with that? So, Landon, yes, great question. The y, this y, and this x will be this y and this x. So that there are the variables in the equation, right? Because when you get done simplifying this, you should get an answer that looks like this. You're going to need an equation, a y and an x, and these are your variables, regular y, regular x. Now, what's y1, x1? Well, we know what that is. Those are right there, right? Those are those, okay? And those are the numbers that we put. Now, we use those numbers because we want our line to go through those points. That makes sense? Because we want the line to go through those points, okay? So, let's use this formula, okay? So, right off the bat, find the equation line from these 2 points. First of all, we need it in the m, right? We got the slope. So, first, write this down. So, first, find slope. Okay? How do you find slope? We'll just put our arrow right up to there, okay? First, find slope. So put our arrow there, okay? And we did that. We already found the slope, right? We got 18/7 or about 2.57, okay? So step one, when you want to find the equation line, find the slope because we need the m, right? We need the m. We did that. Okay, second step, okay? Second is to use the point slope formula. And that is this one. So we're going to plug in, and I don't want to go too fast. So first step is find the slope. We did that. Second step is to use the point slope formula, okay? Which is that one there. Now, we're going to plug in, okay? Little star. We're going to plug in x1, y1, which is our 3 and our 7. So we're going to put that with the 3 right there. We'll put the 3 right there. We're going to put the 7 right there, okay? We're going to put the 3 right there. And put the 7 right there, okay? Okay, now, also, okay, plug in m, okay, which we know, all right? All right, so we're going to be done with this real quick, okay? So in order to get an equation, m is the symbol for slope. Great question. M is the symbol for slope, right?
That's what that is.
Yeah, m is just a symbol for slope. I know, and then you're like, okay, why m? Why not s for slope? But s is used for speed in physics, and why b? Why not just y? Yeah, right. So yeah. Okay, so let's do it. So, and you guys can cross. We're going to talk about this tomorrow. Okay, we'll talk about this tomorrow. Okay, so let's do it. So let's slide it up. So I'm going to write my formula. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So I'm going to write down my formula, okay? There's my formula. This problem takes 2 steps. We've done the first step, we found the slope, right? Got it. And we'll use the 2.57. It's easier than a fraction, right? You guys like that number, or do you like the fraction? Probably that number, because we're going to use a calculator, right? Okay, so second step, use the formula, which we are, and then plug in x1, y1, and plug in m. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go y, and like Landon asked, that's regular y. That's the variable y, minus y1, which is my 7, equals m, and m is my slope, which is my 2.57, parentheses, x, because that's my x variable, minus x1, which is my 3, okay? How am I doing? Okay, so I used my formula, and in my formula, I've got to put in a y1 and an x1, which I got from my point, right? I need to put in an m, which I found from the slope, and then I need to leave the y and the x as variables, because, you know, eventually you're going to want to graph it, right? So now, the only difference I have here is that I've already solved for y, so I can graph it, right? What I need to do next is solve for y, so I can graph it, okay? So now the next step I want to do, third, is to solve for y. And once I solve for y, I can graph it, okay? And Morgan, I'll get you guys caught up. Zoe, question? Yeah.
What do we do with the 25?
Okay, great. Really good question. Let me finish this up and I'm going to come back to it, okay? All right. So, here's how we're going to solve it. We're going to go and distribute that times that, that times that. You guys remember that? Using the distributive property? Okay, so I'll have a 2.57x minus, I don't know, calculator time, right? Calculator time. What is 2.57 times 3 minus 7.71, okay? So I'm not done. All I did was distributed, because I want to simplify. So 2.57 times x, 2.57 times 3, okay? How am I doing, okay? Thumbs up. Okay, now let's slide down the y minus 7, okay? Just slide down the y minus 7, okay? And now what do you think? What's the next thing I have to do?
Solve.
Solve. So what do you, yes, what do I do? Tell me. Totally right.
Then you should add 7.
There you go. You guys agree? Plus 7, right?
And then,
Y will equal 2.57x minus a 0.71, okay? Now, let me answer Zoe's question, okay? And I'm just going to give you a picture of it, okay? It's not going to be a perfect picture, but you'll get the idea, okay? So I started about negative 0.7, about there, right? I'm going to go up 2.57 over 1, and the graph is going to look something like that, okay? It doesn't have to be perfect, but something like that. Because we have this slope, and because we used our 1 point, the 3, 7 has to be on the line. Has to be, right? Has to be. And you know what? So will the 10, 25, because we keep going up, keep going up, keep going up. It will be there. Now, let me take this one step further, and I don't expect you to do this, but you don't have to use point 1. You could use the other point. You could use either point. All you need is a x and y value, and it'll work. It's just usually easier to take the first one.
but you could do x2.
And y2, you could, because they're still on the line as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Nikolai.
How'd you get negative 7 points?
Okay, we'll do it on a calculator. Okay, check it out. Great question. So if I've got, I just did it in my head, but you don't have negative 7.71 plus 7, right? Can you see my calculator? There it is.
Yeah, but how'd you get
So,
that generally?
right. So right here, to get rid of the 7, I went plus 7, didn't I, right? To get y by itself. So that's gone.
No, how did you get from x minus 3 to negative 7 times 7? That's what I'm asking.
Oh, here?
Yeah.
Oh, I distributed. I went that times that,
Oh.
and that times that.
So 5.50 times 3.
So I went 2.57 times 3. And I just used my calculator. You can see it. 2.57 times 3.
Then where do you get the negative?
It's in the formula. It's in the formula, right? It's in the formula. Okay. Okay. All right, let's do... Okay, you're going to need a piece of graph paper to do this next thing. Anybody need graph paper? Do you want to stand up real quick, stretch?
Yeah.
Okay, you want to stand up real quick and stretch? Okay.
Numbers similar.
Okay. All right. We'll play a real quick game. Everybody stand in a circle real quick. Okay, we'll play 21 real quick. Okay. We'll play 21. Anybody want to play 21? Wait for yourself, son.
More game. More game. Oh, look at that.
All right, who's going to start? Julia?
I'll do it.
All right, there you go. All right, who's going to start, you guys? Go ahead.
All right. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6.
Are you guys playing?
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
13, 14, 15, 19, 20.
Cooper's out.
Austin's out. Austin's out. Austin's out.
Cooper.
Okay.
You're still there.
No,
Wait, Zoe.
Yeah,
Okay,
you can
Cooper,
say
you're up.
either one. Have to say it out.
1.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13.
14.
15, 16, 17.
So you can say one number or 2 consecutive numbers or 3 consecutive numbers. It doesn't really matter. It's your choice. But you don't want to say 21. There you go.
6, 7, 8.
Way to make you suffer.
2, 3, 4, 5.
No, that's too many numbers, bud. How about 2, 3, 4? There you go.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
12, 13, 14.
Okay. All right, this is going to take a while, so we're going to stop, and I want you to get a partner, just one-on-one. Okay, that's right. We're going to do it different. I want you to find a partner. You guys want to do it as a big group? It's going to take forever.
Exactly.
Exactly.
It's too hot in here to do math. We already started.
Yeah, we already started.
Yeah, we already.
All right, y'all, so where are we at?
We're going to keep going.
Yeah. All right. I got to talk to you. It's going to take forever.
And the entire point.
Where you got? They
Doesn't matter.
planned and changed the plan, I guess.
Where are we at?
Now we're really falling apart. All right, guys, sit down. It's all falling apart. Sit down.
Oh no.
Who needs me scrap paper? Scrap paper.
Thanks a lot.
Scrap paper. Okay, you're gonna need a piece of scrap paper. You need some.
Oh, you lose.
All right, so I need to stop this recording. I can't believe I kept it going. Shoot.